Hey guys, Omni here. Out of respect for the celebration itself for Star Wars, there was a trailer that was shown at the panel for The Mandalorian. It was exclusive to the people who were there. I didn't know it at the time because in the panel itself, when they cut, because I watched the trailer that was leaked before watching the panel. In the panel, it cuts away and it's like, all right, the live stream, nobody gets to see that. And then they come back to it. And it's after they cut away from it, after they've cut away and returned, that Jon Favreau is like, oh, I should have mentioned that this is for you guys only. Please don't have recorded it after the fact. And I was like, well, shoot. Because I saw it on YouTube. Somebody had uploaded it because I guess they filmed it while they were there. And I just thought maybe the official one just hasn't been uploaded yet. And it wasn't until I watched the panel that I realized that it wasn't supposed to be up there. But I'm just going to give my general thoughts on it. I'm not going to give any details out of respect for their wishes and all that stuff. But I got to say that there's a major Western vibe, a very, very Kurosawa samurai kind of vibe to this show from what they showed off, and especially from what they've talked about. They did talk about a lot of it and a lot of the processes that went into making this happen in live action and their kind of philosophies in tackling this. The key players in producing this is Jon Favreau, who brought Iron Man back to life. He pretty much was the jump starter for the MCU. And then, you know, the Lucasfilms godsend godchild of George Lucas, Dave Filoni, is also just chugging through this stuff, man. He's working on so many projects at Lucasfilm right now that it is crazy that he has the time to do all of this. Same with Jon Favreau, who's like doing this on top of the live action Lion King as well. So these guys, I don't know how they fit all this into their schedules, but they're showing off some really great stuff. The Mandalorian himself, I don't think we have a name for him. He's just known as the Mandalorian. They call him Mando for short. Is played by Pedro Pascal, who a lot of people might know as Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones. And hearing him talk about it is just the enthusiastic responsive that the actors have for working with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and their passion for these projects. These are people who are core Star Wars fans, old school, 40-year-old, there when it started fans that are just trying to expand and pay homage to both the expanded universe, the new universe, by adding new things and still paying like tribute and love to the way things were done back in the day as well. Playing back to the stories of, you know, that inspired the original trilogy, like samurai films by Kurosawa, as well as, you know, spaghetti westerns. Like there's so many like tie-ins to those genres that kind of built Star Wars from the ground up. And us taking the backseat to a main character, our driver, who is a Mandalorian, who is a bounty hunter, who is a brand new character to the franchise, who lives in this seedy kind of criminal element of the galaxy on the outer edges, is definitely going to be a fresh take, because we're not going to be, as at least from what we know, and at least what we know of the universe, because this from what if I remember correctly, they said this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and at that point the only Force user alive that we know about, or that at least has had any training, was Luke. And so given the time frame after this, we don't know if he started his temple, if he hasn't started his training or collecting more Jedi or anything like that. So this is going to be the rough and tumble side of the galaxy, and this is going to be definitely for those people who gear more towards the Western, the gritty, the slimy sleazeballs of the galaxy, the smugglers and the Han Solos of the Star Wars universe, and the Boba Fett's, the Jabba the Hutts, the bounty pools, the mobsters, all that kind of stuff. Or just the outcasts in general too, because one of the main characters is Cara Dune, who is also a ex-rebel shock trooper. She's got a role which is we don't know much about. Carl Weathers is playing a character in this. He seems to be a person who actually hands out the bounties. He also gets himself into a fair share of scuffs himself. And they're bragging super hard about going back to some of the old school film tricks that they used back in the day, hand-built model sets to show off and grow this world. They're trying to not use CGI as much as they should. Not that it shouldn't be used, but I guess it does help for the if you don't have like a super huge budget. I don't know what the budget is for this, but I'm just saying for like TV show, for just starting out for a first season, if you don't have a crazy budget and you pump out a lot of CGI, it's not always going to look great. It might not age well, and going practical is both paying homage to the spirit and the past of this franchise, that I think it works both in a spiritual and as a practical means of delivering a Star Wars experience that'll be pleasing to the eye. From everything they've shown, looks top notch. And one funny story too, and another thing that is really great about what they did with this, I'm super hyped for this, by the way. They themselves, when they were shooting this, they needed more stormtroopers than they had their own props for. I think they said they only had like 8 or so full sets of stormtrooper armor, but they needed way more stormtroopers than that for the scenes that they wanted to do. Otherwise, they were going to have to rewrite things, or it wouldn't work, or it wouldn't be that threatening or impressive. So these guys reached out to the 501st, and if you're a Star Wars fan, you know exactly who those are. They are a Star Wars member group, huge group across the nation, across the world, of people who, at the 501st in the lore, is Darth Vader's personal stormtrooper army, his personal stormtrooper unit, squad, whatever you want to call it. And the fandom themselves, they parade in their stormtrooper outfits. They role play when they're at conventions and stuff like that as stormtroopers, patrolling, doing stormtroopery things. Most of them have made or purchased their own props to wear, their costumes. And Dave Filoni called up some guys he knows from the 501st group and be like, hey, how many of you guys can come down here? We have a thing we want you to show up for. Not letting them know that they're actually going to be in Star Wars. They're going to be stormtroopers in this world. And I think that's such a throwback to the fandom, I think. And just like letting the fans be a part of the world in a way that, you know, they used to be with the EU, where people could write their stories and there was always a chance that maybe you could write something that would be involved. That's been out of the cast off to the wayside since Disney took over as a way to try to streamline the canon, which is fine, because I understand that. I know a lot of people, you had your heart in the EU back in the time, and we all hold out for something from the EU that maybe we gravitated towards to be confirmed as canon in this. Right now, pretty much anything that hasn't been declared canon is still considered a Legends story, something that is passed on but not confirmed until they decide to pull from it down the road. But it's something that I reaching out to people who are fans, like just regular fan, everyday, like Joe Schmo Star Wars fans that just love this series so much. They just called them up and it was like, hey, come down here. And they will be in Star Wars. I love that. That gave me some real strong feels from this panel. We're going to see some other bounty hunters. I know they've talked about IG-88 making an appearance. I don't think we'll see Boba Fett. I would love to see Boba Fett, but I really don't think we're going to see Boba Fett show up at all. We're just going to be focused on Pedro Pascal's unnamed Mandalorian. Otherwise, you know, seeing Boba Fett would obviously take a lot of the importance of Pedro Pascal's new character away, and it would give it would just kind of, the attention and the weight of his character, I think, would be undermined by having Boba Fett in it. As much as I would love to see Boba Fett. Where? So cool. But IG-8 showed up. I think I saw a clip of him like spinning around with multiple arms and like blastering a whole bunch of people. Looks pretty sweet. And like, I don't know. There's a lot of old school love going into this, and I'm excited for this. I wasn't too on board for it originally. But I think it's just everything they've shown off. Some of the images, which I can pull up here in just a second. I want to show you guys some of these stills that we have, some of the official stills. Nothing from the trailer or anything like that. That just look great. But they're expanding the universe. They're talking about things from the EU that they're going to try to slip back in there to make canon and get back into this, the Star Wars collection for everybody. So I'm curious to see what that'll be with the Clone Wars kind of focusing on the Siege of Mandalore. I think we're going to start to see a little bit of the Mandalorian background explored a little more. And for me, I really hope that goes back into the Jedi-Mandalorian War, which might get Darth Revan from the Knights of the Old Republic games to be canon. I don't know. He's kind of pivotal and all of that, but I'm just saying that's something I've been wanting for a long time, but who knows? I know they tried to get him into Clone Wars. There's some concept art of Revan in those from the Mandalorian sieges and stuff. So who knows? It's well in the past, so it would just be something referenced in passing, but that's enough to make it canon. Yeah, I'm excited. So let's just take a look at a couple of stills here real quick that I had set up and lined up here. So we got a little image here. Let me zoom this in a little bit. We got Pedro Pascal looking all awesome in his silhouette of his full Mandalorian armor. Now, I did see that throughout the trailer and everything we know, we never see Pedro Pascal without the set, without the armor, without the helmet or anything like that. Just purely in his gear, decked out and ready to take out some fools. Here's Carl Weathers as his character. I can't remember the name, so forgive me for that. There's been so much information dumped out of this convention. I apologize. I've been trying to keep up with this. Oh, yeah, that right there. Grief. His name is Grief. Thank you, caption. But yeah, man, here we have nice little shot in a firefight with our Mandalorian protagonist. About it looks so great, man. Live action Star Wars series. Here's our Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano. Also looks like she's gearing up for some action here. Suit looks top notch. This is some great aesthetics, man. I'm completely digging everything that this Star Wars Celebration has shown up. And then we have, of course, the title card. I'm hyped. I can't wait to see something more. I can't wait for an official trailer to be out. I think they said this will be launching this winter or this fall with, I think November 12th is what I remember hearing for the air date on Disney Plus for The Mandalorian, and I'll be there. And the 15th is when Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order comes out, and I'll be playing and streaming that. Cannot wait. The month after that, Rise of Skywalker, episode 9 comes out. I'm not sure when Clone Wars comes out, but this is going to be the year of Star Wars, and it's just got my blood pumping for being a fan again, and I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too, because I want the fandom to be reunited in a way that they used to be, and it feels so segmented and just meh up until this celebration, man. This celebration has mended my spirit on Star Wars, and I'm loving it. I'm giddy. I'm feeling like a freaking child again, and I'm loving every aspect and moment of it. I'm just rambling and saying the same thing over and over again at this point. I'm sorry. So at this point, I'm sorry I didn't have anything really to show you. I'm sure I could have found the trailer out there that they showed the people, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy. But I did want to talk about my overall feelings of the panel, what we do know, what we've shown, what they have given to the public as well. And I want to know what you guys think. If you were there and you saw it, if you happened to see the leaked footage, you can talk about it. And down in the comments, we'll have a little bit of a conversation about it. I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for this? Are you excited for Clone Wars? Are you excited for Rise of Skywalker? Anyway, guys, I just want to pass this off to you. Let me know down in the comments if you're excited for this. Let me know how you feel about it. If you've seen the footage, if you've seen what do you think about the designs, the idea, the concept of the show, what you want to see in it. Are you excited for Clone Wars? Are you excited about all the other Star Wars stuff that has come out of Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago? I want to know what you guys think down in the comments, and we'll have a conversation about it. I love talking to you guys and hearing what you guys have to say and sharing that with you all. So yeah, this is the end for this video. If you want to see my other Star Wars stuff that I've covered from Star Wars Celebration, I'll link some of them at the end of this and the end screen. Feel free to leave some comments there. Speculations for Rise of Skywalker on my reaction and discussions for that film. Anything at all, I want to hear from you guys. And that's it for now. If you guys like this, make sure to go check out my other videos. And for now, I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.